Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and we are now live for my post-match reaction to Manchester United 1, Wolves 0. And if you want my honest opinion, if I had one word to sum up that game, the word would probably be undeserved. It was not a deserving 3 points. It was not a deserving win. But at the end of the day, football's football. You know, you can play bad and you can win games, and that can be a good thing. I want to play well and win games, but I also want to win games when we play bad. And we did not play well today. And in this match reaction, there will be a lot of negative things we need to talk about. We need to talk about the midfield. We need to talk about certain performances. But there are some positives to take from the game as well. But the most important thing that we can take from this game is 3 points. Back second in the league, or joint second in the league, as you say. And you know what? Wolves completely outplayed us. I watched the game and I was a little bit concerned with the lack of patterns of play. Why are we doing the long ball? Why can't we break them down? You know, we have all these players. We couldn't break down Wolves. I thought I'm looking more and more Ole going like, Ole, do you know what you're doing? Are you just putting who you think the best players are on and hoping they deliver? And today was a prime example of, you know what, we got outplayed. We got outplayed. Wolves played a better style of football, better tempo, deserved to win. Today was a prime example of us being the bad team, the manager doing fuck all, but having the better players, and the better players win you games. Because I tell you what, if it was Lindelof and not Varane, I don't think we would have kept a clean sheet, and I don't think we'd have scored. You know, if it wasn't for Mason Greenwood making something out of nothing, we wouldn't have won the game. If it wasn't for De Gea, we would have lost the game. And last week versus Southampton, if it wasn't for De Gea again, we would have lost the game. So whatever you say about David De Gea, whether you're Dean Henderson or David De Gea, you have to sit here and you have to smash that like for David De Gea, because he saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 4 points. He saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 4 points in 2 games. You know, if we'd have lost to Southampton and dropped points to Wolves, the pressure would be on. But David De Gea, you know, if we drop points to Wolves, we're in a top 4 race already. After 3 games of the season, we'd been in a top 4 race if we drop points to Wolves. David De Gea is the reason we're sitting here in a title race and not sitting here with 3 points after 9 games. David De Gea is the reason behind that. Now, what I do want to talk about, now I'm going to address the live chats, I am going to do play ratings and more in just a second. But what I do want to talk about is we have broken a record. Now, we've won the game, we've broken a record, we're kicking Arsenal while they're down. You're on 0 points, 0 goals in 9 games, bottom of the league, and your record's just been broken by Man United. So we're going to sit here and hit that like button for breaking the record. We're going to sit here and hit that like button for 3 points. But the performance was bad, and I think there is a lot to critique, by the way. Guys, I'm really interested to see who your guys' man of the match is down below. We will get into player ratings and talk about individual performances in just a second. But comment your man of the match down below, because for me, I think it has to be David De Gea, because he's the reason we didn't lose the game. But I was awfully impressed by Varane. I thought Varane had a fantastic debut. We will talk about Sancho. He didn't look up for it, and I'm not going to go in on Sancho. It's early days. But Rafael Varane had a fantastic debut. Greenwood is clear of Romelu Lukaku. Well, Greenwood is up there as top goal scorer. Is definitely up there for top goal scorer. Don't know. I just tweeted this about 10 minutes ago. I don't know what Mason Greenwood Southgate watches, because I don't think Gareth Southgate watches the same Mason Greenwood we watch. Because how, with Rashford and Foden being injured and Ollie Watkins being injured, can Greenwood still not get called up to the England squad? Look, I think Saka's a great player, but Arsenal, look at them and look at Greenwood. I'm sorry. Greenwood should be in the England squad. A stat for you guys on Mason Greenwood. In 37 Premier League starts, Greenwood has 20 goals and 3 assists. So 23 goal contributions in 37 starts. Bear in mind, he was aged 17, 18 and 19 when he put up these numbers. It's absolutely mad. So Greenwood scored his 20th goal in the Premier League. This guy's a baller. Mason Greenwood, guys. Absolute baller for you guys. Ilan said Fred was abysmal, and this is Ollie's last season. Sadly, we've got no attacking identity. We're at a standstill in terms of progress. And yes, we won today. And what I do want to talk about is, yes, we won. Yes, Souness is being bitter again, going on a Pogba. Any excuse for Souness to go on a Pogba. But you know what, Souness? This is what I think of your opinion. That is what I think of Graham Souness' opinion. Don't know how this guy's employed. He talks so much shit. We were rubbish. Fred was rubbish. I think Ollie got it wrong today. I think Ollie really did get it wrong today. I thought he didn't pick the right lineup. I don't think he picked the right team. I think that we shouldn't have moved Pogba to the pivot. That was a mistake. I know that I actually prefer Pogba in the pivot because I think his best position is in the pivot. But Pogba's best position is in the pivot when he's got a top CDM next to him. And when Pogba has to play next to Fred or McTominay or Matic on a bad day in the pivot, it's going to drag him down. If Matic has a good day, or if Pogba's playing next to Kante, or Pogba's playing next to Rice or Ndidi, Pogba's fine in the pivot. But Fred brought Pogba down to it, and Fred was abysmal. And I'm going to sit here, guys, and I'm seriously concerned because I'm going, what does Fred need to do to be dropped? Because McTominay is injured, so Fred's got to play. It's got to be Fred or Matic in the pivot with either Pogba or Donny for me. But what does Fred need to do to be dropped? Because versus Southampton, he was our worst player. He was atrocious. Versus Wolves today, he gave the ball away 3 times in the opening 6 minutes. Wolves could have gone 2-0 up from Fred giving the ball away twice. Adama Traore bullied Fred. Adama Traore looked like the year 11 and Fred looked like the year 7 in school. Fred got bullied. Fred got dribbled past multiple times. This was worse performance than Southampton. Now, Fred was atrocious versus Southampton, but Fred was awful today. What does he bring to Manchester United? What does he add to the squad? And what is Fred doing right that can keep Donny van de Beek out of the squad? Whether Ollie sees Donny van de Beek as a pivot player or not, with McTominay out and Fred playing that shit, your only options are Pogba and Matic. Okay? So why can't Donny get a run in the pivot? Because if Fred's that bad, and if Fred can't get subbed off or dropped after being that bad 2 games in a row, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. I've been Ollie in. I've been Ollie in for a while, but I am literally on the verge of being Ollie out. Despite winning the game, this football's not good enough. We've signed Ronaldo. We've signed Sancho. We signed Varane. But yet Wolves have played a much better brand of football than us. Yes, they didn't win. But if Wolves had the players that we had and we had the players that Wolves had, with their manager, we would have lost 10-0. We could have lost that game 4-0. But players of quality are saving Ollie his job. And I do sit here as someone that is Ollie in, and I'm not going to go. We've just signed Ronaldo. I'm not going to switch to Ollie out after 2 bad performances. I'm going to give him a couple more performances, see what Ronaldo does. Wait till after the transfer window, see what he does, see if he changes the way he plays. But if I sit here and I seriously think of someone that is Ollie in on the verge of going Ollie out, I don't like the flip-flop. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give him some time, see what he does with Ronaldo. But I think if Pep Guardiola had that team, if Jurgen Klopp had that team, if Thomas Tuchel had that team, if the Wolves manager had that team, I can't even remember his name. I think if a lot of managers had that team that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had, they would have played a lot better brand of football, a lot better style of football, and would have scored a lot more goals. Despite not having a CDM or not, I know that I don't expect us to win the league because we don't have the midfield for it. Despite not having a CDM, despite not having a great midfield, most managers, I think, would have done a better job than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, because with the players we have, we should not be performing that badly, whether we have a CDM or not. And I thought it was an absolute disgrace of a performance. I thought we were awful. My camera has decided to not focus, guys, so hopefully that will focus in just a second. Is that focus? Yeah. Please hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this video. We're going to get into player ratings in just a second. Ollie is learning on the job. Why not get Zidane? Well, this trust the process thing isn't working with Arsenal. And could this trust Ollie thing maybe not work with Manchester United? I'm going to read through a few live chats, so go spam them in down below. If you put a live chat in 5 minutes ago, just repeat what you said now, because I'm going to skip a few. Diego says, man of the match, Mason Greenwood. For me, it's De Gea, but Varane and Greenwood, absolutely fantastic. Greenwood making something out of nothing. Nick Morris says De Gea was man of the match. Varane certainly strengthened the defence. Now, I'm so glad that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used some balls and started Varane over Lindelof, because I thought, you know what, Varane had a lot to do. This was Varane's debut, and he had a lot to do. It wasn't an easy game for Varane. He had to come against Traore and a Trincao and a very pacey Wolves team on the counter-attack, and he dealt with it very well. He put a block in just before we scored, about the 70th minute. He put a really good block in that could have denied Wolves actually scoring a goal, because I don't know how Wolves didn't score a goal. I don't know how we walked away with a clean sheet, but Varane, Wan-Bissaka and David De Gea are a big part of why we walked away with a clean sheet. I think in terms of a debut, Raphael Varane was absolutely fantastic. I thought, Varane, Maguire looked a lot stronger next to him, and they were tested. Varane and Maguire were tested a lot, but it wasn't Varane. We were awful defensively, but that wasn't because of Varane and Maguire. That wasn't because of De Gea. That wasn't because of Wan-Bissaka. That wasn't because of Luke Shaw. We were awful defensively because they could just run through our midfield. Our midfield in that game was non-existent. Not McTominay. Fred was basically, you might as well play with 10 men. Playing with Fred was like playing with 10 men. Adama Traore bullied Fred. Pogba was not great, but Pogba at least adds something going forward. Defensively awful from the midfielders. But the difference between Fred and the difference between Pogba is Pogba can add something going forward. Fred can't add anything. Fred cannot add anything at all. But yeah, a brilliant debut from Raphael Varane. Slap that like button if you were impressed with Raphael Varane's debut, because I was absolutely impressed. Lou Manu says, Alice, we are just not ready for Ronaldo. We need Lux and the refs to get us to go through. Mike Dean was an absolute knobhead to us for 75 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes of the game, he thought, oh, you know what? I've been really biased to Wolves. Let's even that out. The referee until about the 75th minute was awful from Mike Dean. It was awful. I'm not going to lie, but we won the game, so I'm not going to moan about the ref. I don't care. At the end of the day, you can't change what the ref does. I'm not going to moan. I can't believe Souness is moaning about that Pogba foul. For me, he didn't touch him. Souness going, Pogba should be banned. Pogba could have broke his leg. Souness, go do one. Andrew says that David De Gea is clear of Dean. English media agenda aside, he is nowhere near the goalkeeper that Dave is, and I agree with that. David De Gea has proved that he should be number one. David De Gea has proved we could, if Arsenal paid 30 million for Aaron Ramsdale, surely we could get 40 million for Dean Henderson. Do you know what Ruben Neves will get you? 35 million. I'm just taking a quick sip of water. If Ruben Neves is on the market for 35 million and we don't need Dean Henderson and Arsenal spending 30 million on Ramsdale, I'm sure there's a team out there that would spend 40 million on Dean Henderson. So whether we sell Lingard or James that need to be sold because they're not going to get into the team, if you sell Dean Henderson, you sell Lingard and you sell James, you've got the money to sign a CDM. And that performance just tells us how badly Manchester United need a CDM. Greenwood is a class talent, as I said earlier. 20 goals in the Premier League now. Only 3 or 4 other players in Premier League history have scored 20 goals as a teenager. Greenwood is a generational talent. He's great on the right wing. He's great as a number 9. And the best number 9 ever to play world football, in my opinion, Cristiano Ronaldo, is coming to Manchester United. And Greenwood can learn from him. Maybe, because you know what? Greenwood can still play as a right winger. Greenwood, Ronaldo started his career on the wing and he became a number 9. And I think when Ronaldo comes in, Greenwood will be moved to the wing because Greenwood is undroppable right now. Mason Greenwood is undroppable. And Greenwood is going to learn from Cristiano Ronaldo, the best number 9 to play football. Because when Ronaldo was at Manchester United, he was a tricky winger. Blah, 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 blah. Ronaldo at Real Madrid at Juventus has turned into a very, very advanced number 9. And when you've got a player like Mason Greenwood that at 19 years of age has already scored 20 goals in his Premier League career and got 3 assists, and you've got Ronaldo coming in, and Ronaldo's not going to stunt this development because Greenwood can play on the right. He's already learned a lot from Cavani. We've seen what Greenwood's learned from Cavani, but imagine what Greenwood can learn from Ronaldo. And I think Mason Greenwood could become one of the best ever players to play for Manchester United. And he's got everything right. He's great at his age. He's fantastic. He's a brilliant finisher. And now he's got Ronaldo coming in. Mason Greenwood has everything in front of him to become one of the best players to play football. And I believe that he will. Because you know what? He made something out of nothing today. We had no hope that game. It was going to be nil. For me, it was going to be 0-0. We were going to lose it. And Mason Greenwood scored. And with Ronaldo coming in, and how good Greenwood is now, and he's only 19, and he's going to learn from Ronaldo, and he's going to turn into the number 9 after Ronaldo leaves and learn from a number 9 like Ronaldo. I think it's actually frightening how good Mason Greenwood could be. I think it's very, very frightening. Sergio said his man of the match is Ruben Neves because he showed us why we can't outplay Wolves as would any CDM. That's not. I mean, we should be taking Ruben Neves at Manchester United. I completely agree. Declan Gill said Fred makes me dizzy. He next to never knows where he's meant to be. I agree with that. And Jay Zena says, how on earth is Fred playing? He's pure awful. He's a terrible player. If we can see that one, why on earth can't OLE? I sit here and I go, we could see that Fred's not good enough for Manchester United. If all the fans can see that Fred's crap and Donny van de Beek deserves a chance, why can't OLE and the coaching staff see that? Because surely Ole's not Stevie Wonder. Surely Ole's not blind. I am seriously concerned about OLE and the coaching staff because the last 2 games, because Leeds is always an anomaly because Leeds played different to a lot of other Premier League sides, but the last 2 games we have been outplayed by Southampton and we've been outplayed by Wolves. And I sit here and go, one of the reasons we're outplayed is because of that midfield situation, and that is Fred. Fred has been the weakness in the last 2 games. He's the common denominator. I don't know what that word is. Common denominator in those 2 games. And I sit here and go, if all the fans can see that Fred's not good enough and that Donny could play in the pivot, why can't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer see it? Why can't the coaching see it? Because I'm at the point where I think that surely Fred's got Ole's nudes or something. Surely Fred's got Ole's nudes or something. Because I don't know what Fred needs to do to be dropped or subbed off because Fred adds nothing to the squad. I've defended Fred time and time again. I thought he was better than McTominay. I used to say I think Fred's better than McTominay. I just think he's the scapegoat because he's not British. Fred is shit. Fred is shit. At least McTominay can contribute some stuff going forward. Fred is shit. He is. And I don't like to say that, but he's not good enough. He's not Manchester United level. And you know what? Dan James didn't look like the weakness today. I thought Dan James played better than Fred, and I think he played better than Pogba in the first. I thought he played better than Sancho. We're normally scapegoating Dan James as the weakness. But Fred is the weakness in this Manchester United side. Fred is the weakness in this Manchester United side by a while. Elan says if this game doesn't encourage the higher-ups to sign a midfielder in the next 48 hours, nothing will. This could be a very, very, very long season. I agree with this. Yes, you've won the game. Yes, we got 3 points. But were you satisfied watching that performance, guys? I wasn't. Were you happy watching that performance, guys? I wasn't. And you know what? Now we sign Ronaldo, I don't think we're going to get a midfielder. But surely the people watching higher up must look at that game, look at the Southampton game and go, bloody hell, we need a midfielder because we've got Ronaldo coming in. And even if Ronaldo had started that game, I don't think it would have gone much different because where would Ronaldo got service? You know, you can go on Sancho. Sancho didn't have a great game, but Sancho didn't get any service. Greenwood managed to make something out of nothing. Greenwood didn't get any service. And Daniel James, poor little Danny James, he's not good enough, but he tried to make things happen and he worked hard. Bruno didn't get much service. Bruno didn't get on the ball much. And that's because the midfielders couldn't pass. Fred could not pass. There's a big gap between Fred and Fernandes, and Fred cannot pass the ball between that gap to get it to Fernandes in the attack. You know, not just defensively was Fred poor, but Fred can't pass, so we can't even get the ball to the attackers, and Fred needs to be dropped. Hit that like button if you think Fred should be dropped, and hit that like button if you think Donny van de Beek deserves better. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think we're going to need Donny this season. I think we're going to need Donny this season, but you better sell him if you're not going to play him because it's not fair to do this to Donny van de Beek. It's not fair. And hit that like button for justice to Donny. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. I'm going to read out a few more live chats, and then I'm going to get straight into the player ratings and a little bit of transfer news to cover as well. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, performance-wise, not great from Manchester United. Andrew says Pogba is definitely susceptible to the press in the PL mid-pivot. Either need an absolute rock of a DM next to him or will have rough games in those sort of patches. Pogba's good when he's got a good DM next to him. When Matic plays well, Pogba always has a good game. Matic is very inconsistent. Pogba and Matic has worked. Pogba plays really well in the pivot next to Matic and had some brilliant games. The problem is you can't rely on Matic to do that job efficiently week in, week out. Fred and McTominay and Van der Beek aren't CDM, so they can't do that job that Prime Matic can do. Kante's not a CDM, but he's a very advanced box-to-box world-class player. If you play Pogba next to Wilfred and Ndidi, I guarantee you we'd see France Pogba because Pogba's been brilliant on the left. He's got 5 assists. But Paul Pogba's best position is a box-to-box midfielder. That is who Paul Pogba is. And I think if Pogba played with Wilfred and Ndidi, you'd see France Pogba Manchester United. A Pogba, Bruno and Ndidi midfield would be quality. But one of the reasons Pogba was bad is because he's playing next to Fred, so he has no freedom to express himself, be creative. And defensively, Pogba's not strongest. Defence has never been Pogba's strength. He's physical. Well, I thought Fred brought Pogba down today. I thought Fred seriously brought Paul Pogba down today, if you want my honest opinion. I think he did. Fred has been bad all 3 games. Still, Ole plays him over Donny White. I just generally think Fred has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's nudes or something at this rate. Fred gives bad passes and gives the ball to opponents. The thing that's worrying is Fred's played this bad for 3 games in a row. I'm seriously concerned. What does Fred need to do to be dropped or sent off? No, dropped or subbed off. Like Fred could get a red card and score 5 own goals, and Donny van de Beek could score a hat-trick, but you will put your money on Fred starting the next game for Man United. You put your money on it. We are going to talk about Jadon Sancho in just a second. We need Rashford back to put pace on the wing. I do think we miss Rashford. I think Rashford has that burst of pace. I do think we miss Rashford. The only situation is Martial's not at his best and we haven't got Sancho yet. You've got to remember that I'm going to completely cut out Cavani, Sancho and Martial from this game. You know, Greenwood's our only attacker that's actually been involved this season and Pogba's been on the left wing. We've got Ronaldo, a prime Martial, an informed Cavani, an informed Sancho and a Rashford to add back to this attack. So attacking-wise, we are sorted. We need to sort the midfield out. Now, I'm going to talk about Jadon Sancho today because I don't think Jadon Sancho had a great game. As Niall Kane said, Jadon Sancho couldn't get into the game and barely kicked a ball a whole game. For me, Ole was correct to sub him off, in my opinion. I agree with that. Jadon Sancho couldn't get in the game. But this is his first start for Manchester United, and this is really, really early days. And I'm not concerned. I think, you know what? Daniel James couldn't get in the game. You know what? Cavani couldn't get in the game. Martial couldn't get in the game. Greenwood only got himself in the game because of a moment of magic. Bruno couldn't get himself in the game. So I'm not too concerned about Jadon Sancho's performance because none of the Manchester United attackers could actually go and get themselves in the game. None of the Manchester United attackers managed to get themselves in the game. Because you know what? The midfield couldn't get them in the game. The midfield couldn't get them in the game. The goal was made out of nothing. The goal, we didn't. Were we sitting there like Wolves, creating chance after chance after chance to go, oh, I wish we could finish? No. I'm not too worried about Jadon Sancho because this is early days. I thought Jadon Sancho looked a little bit lacklustre. He looked a little bit like a little boy. He looked a little bit lost. I don't think Jadon Sancho was good. But I'm not going to go on him because I don't think any of the attackers were good other than Greenwood that made something out of nothing. I don't think any of the attackers were good because they got no service whatsoever. You know, Cristiano played that game and Jadon Sancho hadn't played that game. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo would have had a good game today because there was no service whatsoever. Now, I do look at Jadon Sancho and I go, he does this thing that Jack Grealish sometimes does for England, but it doesn't always work for England, where he kind of makes a pass. Jadon Sancho, you could tell, is a very, very intelligent player. And I see Jack Grealish do this, where he does a 1-2 with Luke Shaw, and you can see him expecting Daniel James or Greenwood to make that run. So he passes the ball into space, but he's looked up and realised that Dan James and Greenwood haven't made that easy when he saw. I think it could take a couple of weeks for Jadon Sancho to fit in at Manchester United and get used to the style we play, because I think, you know, at Dortmund they play a more attacking, expressive style of football and a more intelligent style of football. And I think Jadon Sancho is a prime example of Donny van de Beek. When Donny van de Beek plays, he's not always on the wavelength of some of the other players. One, because he hasn't played long enough with them, but two, because he's a very, very intelligent player. And when you're playing with Daniel James, he's not an intelligent player. Rashford isn't even an intelligent player. And although Jadon Sancho got no service, he did this thing that Grealish did at England, where Grealish often gave the ball away for England, but because Grealish was expecting players to make that run. And I think with Jadon Sancho and I think with Donny van de Beek, they're very, very intelligent players, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays a very, very uncreative, bland, boring style of football. Whether you're Ole in or Ole out, the football we played today was poor. And I think if you had a top manager come in, I think Donny van de Beek, Jadon Sancho would thrive in good attacking football. And I think the football we played didn't suit Jadon Sancho. He got no service. So I'm not too worried about Jadon Sancho's debut in terms of the performance, to be honest, guys. Daniel Menz says we miss Rashford. And can we see we need a new CDM/centre mid now? Especially with McTominay's injury. And look, McTominay, whether you like him or not, his injury is going to be a big miss at Manchester United, because Ole's not going to play Donny van de Beek. McTominay's injury just means Matic and Fred, or Fred and Pogba. McTominay's injury just means more minutes for Fred. Now, I think with the Champions League starting, I think Donny van de Beek's bound to get more game time. Ole has to rotate. I think obviously we're only playing one game a week at the moment, but when the Champions League starts, we're going to see if Ole rotates. Today we've learned that Ole has started to make earlier subs, which is a good thing. I applaud him for that. But once we get 2 games a week, we have to see Ole making those rotations, and Ole cannot play Fred every game when he has to make those rotations. With Scott McTominay out, we're going to have to play Donny van de Beek, or we're going to have to sign a midfielder. Now, it doesn't take a genius to tell you Manchester United need a new midfielder. We need a CDM, ideally. We needed a CDM more than we needed Sancho. We needed a CDM more than we needed Ronaldo. We still need a CDM. And we've got 2 days left of the transfer window. We've got Dean Henderson, we might as well sell him. Lingard, we should sell. And Daniel James, we could sell. And hopefully we can find the funds somewhere to sign a CDM. Because we massively, massively need a CDM. So importantly. Sancho is a winger. It's much harder to adapt in the EPL. He needs time. 100%. I agree. And after today's game, Ole got a big decision to make on De Gea and Henderson. Well, De Gea can't be dropped. De Gea has saved Ole 4 points. He saved us losing to Southampton. He saved us losing to Wolves. De Gea is saving Ole his job right now. David De Gea cannot be dropped. Whether Ole prefers Dean Henderson or not, I'm thinking, I've said it time and time again, if Arsenal pay 30 million for Ramsdale, why don't we sell Dean Henderson? Because there's no point keeping a player of Dean Henderson's quality as a backup keeper, because he's not going to start over De Gea. De Gea's done nothing to be dropped. De Gea wasn't even bad last season. It's just the English media wanting De Gea to be dropped because they don't like Pickford and they want Henderson to play. De Gea's done nothing to be dropped. And I think we should sell Dean Henderson and invest that money in a CDM. I think that would be the smart move to do. But with our board, with our owners, I guarantee you, Manchester United, unfortunately, we will not do that, by the way, guys. Unfortunately, we won't. And that does worry me. We've got 2 days left of the transfer window. Anything can happen. I never thought we were going to sign Ronaldo up until 2 days ago when we did sign him. Anything can happen. Hopefully we sign a CDM, but we just have to wait and see. But I think we learned from this game, we massively, massively, massively need a CDM. McTominay's now become a crucial player to our, when McTominay's a crucial player in your midfield, you know your midfield shit. Andrew says the Ole situation will sort itself out with this calibre of players. There are no more excuses. No need to mention Zidane and Conte sitting there without clubs. If Ole doesn't perform, if Ole doesn't get results, he will get sacked with the team he's got. Rebuild said these players are good enough to win against most Premier League teams. It's the manager. That's the reason we destroy Leeds and beat City, etc. Because those teams attack us and we play counter. Players are good. It's Ole. I agree. I'm on the verge of becoming Ole out because the football we're playing, considering the players we have, are not good enough. When will Ronaldo start? Ronaldo will start versus Newcastle. Get Ronaldo into play versus Newcastle United. That will be Ronaldo's debut versus Newcastle United. He's not come to United to sit on the bench. Ronaldo scored a lot of goals last season. Ronaldo outscored all our players but Bruno last season. Ronaldo's come to Manchester United to start, and Ronaldo will start versus Newcastle. Alexis on said we lost the midfield battle 5 minutes into the game. You are 100% correct. We lost it 2 minutes into the game. Our forward and back line suffered immensely because of this. I'd point the finger at Fred, and you know what? You've hit the nail on the head with that comment. Your comment is spot on. You've hit the nail on the head. Ramita says our forwards is great, but without CDM we'll be nothing again. Hashtag Glazers out. And Andrew says sell Dean with a buyback and buy him back if he proves he's just not another Foster or Johnstone. I agree. Martial played well when he came on. He didn't really do much, but he held up the ball. He didn't do anything wrong. And, you know, Martial can't be used as the scapegoat this time. So you raise it down as a good manager. Look, I'm on the verge of Ollie out. I thought the football play's atrocious, but he's just got Ronaldo. See what he does. I don't want the Ollie and Ollie out debate. Basuma, please. Ollie should stop being so hard on man. This performance made me look at it, and I just went, I know we don't have the funds to sign Declan Rice or DDG, which is the ideal signing. But we could easily find the funds to sign a Ruben Neves or Basuma because they're not more than 40 million quid. Ruben Neves or Basuma will not cost Manchester United any more than 40 million quid. And we can easily find those funds. And I sit here as a Manchester United fan, very, very concerned that we're not going for a CDM. I'm thinking sell Henderson, sell Lingard, sell Daniel James. When are we going to use them? Because if Fred's starting in this team week in, week out after putting a performance in like that against Southampton and a performance in like that today, very right. Varane was good. Varane was absolutely fantastic today. He was really good. You just could tell Varane really boosted that defence. You know, the fact that we kept a clean sheet was unbelievable. Wan-Bissaka goal line clearance, David De Gea world-class double save, and Rafael Varane, you know, we couldn't have had a better debut. Clean sheet, assist, but he was tested a lot. It's not like he didn't have much to do, because when we play Fred, often Maguire and Lindelof, you say they had nothing to do. They played well because they had nothing to do. Often we say Maguire and Lindelof played well because they had nothing to do, because Fred would sit deep and protect them. But the one eye-opening thing about Varane was, even though Varane and Maguire had a lot to do because they didn't get that Fred protection, they handled it well. And I'm hoping Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will see that and go, when I play Lindelof, I need Fred or Matic and Fred to protect them. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sits there and goes, with Varane, he don't need that protection. And I'm hoping the reason we're keeping Donny at the club is because now Ole's learned that he doesn't need to protect Varane, because Varane got no protection today versus Wolves and was fine. Varane and Maguire were fine. If that was Lindelof and Maguire, we probably would have conceded, even though Wolves couldn't finish to save their life. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's sitting there right now and going, you know what? Varane does not need that protection Lindelof needs. So, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might go, I don't need to play Matic and Fred when Varane's playing. I don't need to play Fred when Varane's playing. I don't need to play Fred at all when Varane's playing. And I hope Ole goes into future games going, look, Tom like Pogba, you're going to play. Donny Pogba, you're going to play. Donny Matic, you're going to play. Matic Pogba, you're going to play. Because with Varane, he got no protection and he handled the situation well. Before I get into my player ratings, I have got a couple things to talk about. Then we'll be getting into player ratings and man of the matches. But obviously, Souness moaning about Pogba foul because he hates Pogba. All of that. Wolves very, very salty about that. But they got the referee was just shit in general. All that. Rafael Varane was absolutely brilliant. Manchester United 28 games unbeaten away from home. We have beat Arsenal's record. That's a brilliant thing. Wan-Bissaka, Rafael Varane, David De Gea and Mason Greenwood were vital for us getting those 3 points. And, you know, as I've said, there's a 0 chance a team of quality should be playing as poorly as we did today on a regular basis. And I think that's what we've got to talk about. We've got the 3 points. We play very well. But the team with the attackers we have, a team with the quality we have, should not be playing as poor as we play today. And rumours coming in that Ronaldo will actually get the number shirts ever, but it's believed he is going to get the number 28 shirt. Ronaldo probably will be confirmed tomorrow or Tuesday, by the way, guys. But I do want to get into player ratings in just a second, by the way. I'm going to talk about each individual match performance. Man United are so bad they got lucky. I'm not going to disagree with you guys. I think we got very, very lucky today. And I don't think we deserve to win. I'm not going to disagree with you guys on that at all. I thought we were very, very lucky. So, yeah. I'm going to do player ratings in just a second. By the way, guys, if you have not already, please smash that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. I do match reactions, match previews, watch-alongs, and transfer news updates, as well as tactical videos. So if you've not hit that like button, if you've not subscribed down below, if you've not shared that video, please do all of that. We're just about to get into player ratings, but what I want to do is, because my Wi-Fi is being a bit slow, there we go. We're going to put a little stat up for you guys on the screen. We're going to share the screen and we're going to get into player ratings in just a sec. But let's go and put this little stat up here. Our star boy, Mr. Mason Greenwood. Our star boy, Mr. Mason Greenwood there. Mr. Mason Greenwood. We need CR7, we Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo. If we don't get a proper DM, then God save us. Fred was awfully shit today. Feeling sorry for Van der Beek. Don't know what he has to do to get in the starting 11. And I 100% agree with you guys. But we're getting into the player ratings, by the way, guys. Player ratings. I want you to interact with me in the live chat and tell me your player ratings down below in the live chat. So please do interact with me. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. But we're starting off with Mr. David De Gea. What are we going to give David De Gea out of 10? I think because David De Gea saved us the game, he made a few good saves. You have to give De Gea a 9 out of 10 because if it wasn't for De Gea, we wouldn't have got 3 points. So for me, I'm giving David De Gea a 9 out of 10, and I'm going to have to give David De Gea man of the match. I thought Varane was absolutely brilliant. I thought Greenwood was great, but David De Gea saved us today. David De Gea was our best player, and he saved us versus Southampton. So a 9 out of 10 for David De Gea, by the way. 8.59, as you're saying, 8.5, yeah. Let me know what you'd rate David De Gea out of 10 in the live chat, but I'm giving De Gea a 9 out of 10. And Wan-Bissaka, you know what? Wan-Bissaka, if it wasn't for that goal line clearance, would have probably been a 6 or a 7. But because of that goal line clearance that Wan-Bissaka made in the opening 10 minutes of the game to stop us going 1-0 down, just like David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka stopped us losing that game. So because of that goal line clearance, I have to give Wan-Bissaka an 8 out of 10. So Wan-Bissaka and David De Gea, 9 for De Gea, 8 for Wan-Bissaka. What do you rate Wan-Bissaka out of 10? Comment it down below. Mr. Raphael Varane, solid debut, assist, clean sheet, had a lot to do and was not troubled. Made a brilliant block around the 70th minute, made a few brilliant tackles, wasn't dribbled past once, completed all his tackles, 100% tackle rate. I am going to get into the player stats as well. After I do player ratings, I'm going to get into player stats. But I think an 8 out of 10 for Raphael Varane as well. Solid. Maguire, not as good as Varane, but I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Thought Maguire was solid today. Luke Shaw, I wasn't that impressed with him. I'd probably give him a 6, 6.5 out of 10. And because of Luke Shaw's high standards, I'm giving Luke Shaw a 6 out of 10 in terms of player ratings. But now we've got to go to Fred's player rating, guys. What are we going to give Fred out of 10? Okay, we've had some positive. You know what? Out of 10, I'm going to have to give Fred a 3. And that's a generous 3. It's if we didn't win that game, if we lost that game, I'd be give. Sorry, I can't talk. If we lost today's game, Fred would have got a 1 out of 10. If we'd lost today's game, Fred would have got a 1 out of 10. The only reason he gets a 3 out of 10 is because we won. And because David De Gea saved Fred's arse, and Wan-Bissaka saved Fred's arse, and Mason Greenwood and Raphael Varane saved Fred's arse today. Because Adama Traore basically put Fred on his arse. So I'm giving Fred a 3 just because we won the game, but he was awful. Paul Pogba was poor. I think he got better in the second half. I think he made a few good long balls, but I'd have to give Pogba a 5. Bruno couldn't get involved in the game. I didn't think he was one of his best games. It wasn't really his fault. He got frustrated. He tried to make things happen. I think he's really a 6, but for Bruno's standards, I'd have to give him a 5 as well. Daniel James, look, he didn't put a foot wrong. He wasn't good. He got no service. He didn't put a foot wrong. I would generally give Daniel James a 5. Not really his fault. 5 out of 10 for Daniel James. Again, Jadon Sancho, 5 out of 10. Couldn't get involved in the game. Not his fault. And of course, last but not least, Starboy Mason Greenwood. Tell me your player ratings for Mason Greenwood in the live chat. But I'm going to have to go and give Mason Greenwood probably an 8 because Mason Greenwood's a 7 out of 10. But because he won the game and he made something out of nothing, I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. And I'll give Cavani a 6 out of 10. I'll give Martial a 6 out of 10. I'll give Delo a 6 out of 10. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you might have won the game. If we lost the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be getting a 1, 2 out of 10. But because we won the game, Ole, like Fred, gets a 3.5 out of 10 for me. And your man of the match has got to be David De Gea. It's got to be David De Gea. What I am going to do, guys, is we're going to go into SofaScore and we're going to look at the player stats. And then I'm going to read out a few more live chats. And then we'll end the live stream in the next 10 minutes. But if we can find SofaScore, Manchester United versus Wolves, SofaScore, Manchester United. If we can go to Manchester United and look at the Wolves game, I'm assuming my screen is shared. Manchester United or Wolves. Let's have a look at some of the player stats. Let's have a look at who did what, who did well. So this is the player ratings by SofaScore, by the way. And I will address a few live chats in a second. But I think a lot of you are saying that, just like me, David De Gea is your man of the match. And I agree with that. David De Gea 10, solid man of the match. A Glazers 2. Hopefully we get a CDM. But we're going to look at SofaScore. We're going to look at some of the player stats. Really, really thirsty. Right. Please smash that like button, subscribe down below, share the stream, share it with your friends, and all of that, by the way, guys. We are actually 16 subscribers away from 17.1k. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, you might as well subscribe as well, because we're having a very, very good week on the channel. I'm not going to lie, we're having a very, very good week on the Alice Talks Football channel. And you know what? We beat Wolves. We beat Wolves. We didn't play well, but we got the 3 points. We signed Ronaldo. It's been a very good week as a Manchester United fan. Liverpool and Chelsea dropped points. We beat Wolves and we signed Ronaldo. It's been a very, very good week as a Manchester United fan. But back to SofaScore. So David De Gea, man of the match, 5 saves, saves from inside the box 3, 25 touches. Absolutely quality from David De Gea. Clear man of the match. Wan-Bissaka had a very, very good game. He made a clearance, he blocked a shot, he made 3 interceptions, he made a tackle. He only got dribbled past once. He made an off-the-line clearance, which was fantastic. He lost possession 4 times, which is nothing compared to Fred. He made 69 touches, 95% pass accuracy. Attacking-wise, didn't contribute much, but defensively stopped Wolves from scoring. And Wan-Bissaka is a massive part of why we got a clean sheet. Rafael Varane was fantastic today. He got an assist. He made 3 clearances. He blocked a shot. He made 1 out of 1 tackles. He didn't get dribbled past at all. He won half of his duels. He won a lot of his aerial duels. He lost possession 8 times. He was fouled once. He didn't make any fouls himself. He made 74 touches, 88% pass accuracy, and he made a key pass. He set up a goal. He made a few good long balls. So passing out the back, Varane was brilliant. Defensively, Varane was brilliant. 100% tackle success ratio, was not dribbled past. And again, I thought Maguire was pretty solid as well. 4 clearances, 2 block shots, 2 interceptions. Didn't make a tackle. Lost possession a couple of times. But we want to talk about Mr. Mason Greenwood here. Didn't get much of the ball, 44 touches. Mason Greenwood didn't get much of the ball, but he managed to make 2 key passes and score a goal when he got little to no service. We're going to talk about Mr. Fred. We're going to talk about Fred here. How many times did Fred lose possession, guys? Let's see. Look, possession loss. Where's the possession loss at? 9 times. 9 times Fred lost possession. Not good enough from Fred whatsoever. Any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. We are going to end the live stream soon, so any questions for me, pop them in the live chat. I will be live on transfer deadline day. We've got 48 hours to sign a CDM. Damn, I hope Manchester United sign a CDM. Only 12 likes needed for 150 likes, guys. Let's push for 150 likes, so please keep smashing that like button. Let's go for 150 likes, by the way. Keep smashing that like button. I'll be live tomorrow night with a transfer news update video. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do make sure you're subscribed to Alice Talks Football down below. Anyone that's not subscribed, on the road to 20k, we've got to hit 18k first. So, of course, subscribe. And we just want to see you, Alice, in a United shirt on match day watch-alongs. I have a United shirt. I will wear a United shirt. Adama running at you with that size and that pace is not pleasant. Welcome to the Premier League. Luckily, he's lacking end product. Luckily for us, Wolves can't manage to save their life, because Wolves could have won that game 4-5-0. If we had the chances Wolves had, we would have won that game 4-5-0. We would. We would have won that game 4-5-0. Ndidi or Basuma. Ndidi's my dream signing, but I'd take both. We need a CDM, very, very obvious. Who do you think will be top scorer for Man Utd at the end of the PL season? Well, if Bruno's not taking penalties, you've got to put your money on Greenwood at this rate, or Ronaldo. It's between Bruno, Greenwood and Ronaldo at this rate. We'll have to see where it goes. It depends on injuries as well. Player ratings is good. I think you do them after every game. De Gea, he gets a 10. Viva Varane, Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo, and we got Champions League Varane. Varane, man of the match. Champions League Varane, and we've got Ronaldo to add to that. But if we don't get a CDM, we will be playing a lot of shit football for the rest of the season, but we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. There's a new song for you. Ciao from Italy, dub Ronaldo. And man, you know how to win playing poor. Can't keep playing poor to have big ambitions. We know how to win when we play poor, but yes, as you've said, we can't be playing poor week in, week out. I've got a couple of talking points I want to quickly get through before I end the live stream, guys. So, first of all, what does Fred need to do to be dropped? I thought he dragged Pogba down with him. I thought he's poor. I thought it's atrocious. I think opening 3 games of the season, Fred has been shit. With McTominay out injured and Fred playing this badly, and Fred and Matic clearly not working together, and Matic not being great, and Pogba not doing a good job in the pivot, it's very, very worrying that we don't have really anyone to play in the pivot. So that is the situation at Manchester United as well. Who's going to play in the pivot? We massively need a CDM. What does Fred need to do to be dropped? McTominay is out injured. He's going to miss probably the Newcastle and West Ham game unless Ole rushes him back, which means he's probably going to get even more injured. So I do sit here going, what does Donny van de Beek have to do to start? I thought Donny van de Beek was man of the match when he last played versus Wolves. Can't get a minute versus Wolves today. I think Ole got it wrong. I know he got the 3 points. I know we won the match, but we didn't deserve to win the match. It was robbery. It was an undeserved win. I think if Donny and Matic had played in the midfield with Pogba on the left and Daniel James and Fred were not involved in that game, I think we would have played a lot better football. And I think Ole got it wrong, and I thought Ole was lucky to win. So congrats to Wolves. You played really, really well. You were very, very unlucky. I did think Sancho was poor, but it's early days. He got no service. He needs to get used to the Premier League. As a young lad, he can only get better. I'm not too worried. Ronaldo would have not helped this game because of the CDM. I'm really glad that this Wolves game wasn't Ronaldo's debut because I think he wouldn't have been able to do anything. I think he would have got no service. I think there was a lack of tactics. There was no flow or no patterns of play from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I thought the style of football we played was poor. It was negative. I thought we're playing 5 at the back. Wolves are playing 5 at the back, and we're trying to break them down by doing the balls over the top. Wolves have got 3 tall physical defenders, and Pogba kept doing these over the top balls. I thought that was poor management from Ole. We should be trying to do fast passing football and outplay them. Because we know, we've seen it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last season. We know Man United don't always play this shit counter-attacking football. We know Man United, when they want to play good football, they can play football. They can play those quick tiki-taka passing. When Man United want to play good football, they can play good football. And I was very, very disappointed in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to not see us playing good football. Now, I'd like to see us moving the ball around about quickly, doing the quick tiki-taka passes, playing young, exciting football, because that's the way you've got to break down Wolves. Not this over-the-top counter-attack play. Did not work. I mean, it did kind of work in the end, but it didn't really work. So, yeah, lack of tactics. Is David De Gea, Mason Greenwood saving Ole his job? If Ole continues to play like this, will his job be on the line? And that's going to be a talking point for a debate next week on the channel, because there is international break coming up. So there won't be as many videos for our international break, but there will be some tactical videos and some debate videos coming up, as well as previews and all of that. Varane had a brilliant debut. We've obviously discussed that. Sancho was not great, but his early days, we discussed that. Glad Ole made an early sub. I think the one positive to take from the game, other than 3 points, is that Ole did put Cavani on in like the 55th minute. You know, he didn't wait till the 70th minute like he normally does. He took Dan James off, he put Cavani off, which was the right decision. I think Dan James looked out of his depth. Another talking point is we did break Arsenal's record, so that's a good record to beat. Record breakers, but at the end of the day, I wasn't that bothered if we broke the record or not, as long as we won the game. And 3 points is all that matters, and that's what we got. De Gea saves Ole again, and Greenwood is a star boy. And I don't know what Mason Greenwood, Gareth Southgate watches, but the Mason Greenwood I saw today was absolutely fantastic. He was our star boy. He was our star player. Mason Greenwood, world class. Whether you're Ole in, you're Ole out, you Greenwood in, you Greenwood out, you want to drop him for Ronaldo. He, as I've said time and time again, he is fantastic. He's made something out of nothing. He's learnt from Cavani and he's going to learn from Ronaldo. And I think that is scary. I think that is really, really scary. BT8 says, in my opinion, the goal should have been disallowed because of the tackle before. That was a leg-breaking, potentially career-ending tackle. All right, Souness, fuck off. And David Hughes says, if no CDM could play, Lindelof can tackle, good passer, less vulnerable when at centre-back. And Yam says, I think Sancho will adapt to the EPL and be better on the right. I think once you play a better brand of football and some more tiki-taka, quick passing, intelligent football, I think possibly yes. JB says he's so glad it's a bank holiday tomorrow. I'm so glad it's a bank holiday tomorrow. And Ronaldo, spirit in the team. Ronaldo will lift the team as well. Ronaldo will massively lift the team. And hopefully I do a big deadline day live stream. Yeah, especially if I think news is going to happen on deadline day, there will be a long live stream. If I don't think anything's going to happen, it'll be a short live stream. But I will be live on deadline day to update you on all of that. You know, we've got to get some players out. We don't need Dan James. We don't need Lingard. We don't need Dean Henderson. But we do need a midfielder, especially with McTominay injured. And hopefully that can be the motivation behind the Glazers finally going out and getting a midfielder, because God, we need a CDM, don't we? And Ronaldo's personality is going to kill Bruno's fantastic play style. It was the same in the Euros. I don't think so. I think Ronaldo is just a boost. And Amateur Feyenoord is done, providing his injury he picked up in training. It's okay for him to leave. Hopefully Amadiello gets that loan deal over the line. I think he massively needs game time, and he's not going to get game time with the strength and depth we have in attack. And Martial on the left wing suits better. I think with Ronaldo, Cavani and Greenwood all being strikers, I think it's going to have to be left wing Martial, whether he likes it tonight. We saw Varane's speed and how that came in handy. Absolutely. It wasn't Sancho's best game, but I have no doubt that he will get better. His strength is attacking on the wing. Exactly. And not that it was a leg-breaking tackle. I just think, you know what? Maybe it was a foul, but I haven't seen. When I saw the replay, I didn't even see any contact. Viva Ronaldo, you love to say, everybody. Before I end the live stream, Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo. We've signed Ronaldo. Before you leave this live stream, you've got to hit that like button for Manchester United signing Ronaldo. Just smash that like button. We've signed Ronaldo, but I am going to end the live stream here, guys. It's, my match reactions are normally about 45 minutes long. I don't want them to drag on for an hour because I think they get a bit boring after an hour. But before I end the live stream, hit that like button for Starboy Mason Greenwood. Hit the like button for David De Gea, man of the match. Hit that like button for Varane, fantastic debut. Hit that like button for the win. Second in the league, 3 points, bada bing, bada boom. I will be live tomorrow night with a transfer news update video, guys. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, don't you worry. I will be live tomorrow night to give you some big transfer news updates. Ronaldo's shirt number will probably be revealed in the next 48 hours, and the final details on Ronaldo will probably be done in the next 48 hours, which is very, very exciting. Lingard, James, Amad Diallo, Dean Henderson all could potentially be out as well. And so a lot to come on the channel. We've got a deadline day live stream on Tuesday. We've got a live stream tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to do a reaction video analysing the transfer window. And on Thursday's video is actually going to be how will Manchester United line up versus Newcastle with all the new signings coming in. Because on Thursday, we'll know who the new signings, who's the ins and who's the outs. And I'm going to look at our lineup for the rest of the season on Thursday. So a lot of interesting and exciting videos coming out soon on the channel, so do make sure to subscribe to that. But big up everyone tuning into the chat. Sorry if I didn't answer any of your live chats. Subscribe, put post notifications on, and any comments I did not answer in today's video, I'll try and answer in tomorrow's live stream. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.